The winning blueprint presents.
In the lab room.
Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. It's Tuesday afternoon, which means there's Monday night action to put a bow on. New England Patriots hosting Houston Texans. Big AFC matchup took place last night, and I was really surprised at the outcome. Not about really who won as much as how they won. The Patriots, we know they're a good team. They protect home well. They've been scoring a bunch of points this season. They average up over 30 points per game, the most in the National Football League. We know about all those things. But they don't play the Houston Texans every week. And so you expected a good football game when you sat down on your couch and turned the television on. You were expecting entertaining football from start to finish. What you didn't expect was a 21-0 deficit at the end of the first quarter and a team looking like they were overmatched and overwhelmed in a football game. You didn't expect the Houston Texans to come out and look like a team that was just trying to make the postseason, not the best team record-wise in the AFC. They were exposed last night for what they are. This is a solid group that can run the football. They run it just about as well as anyone in the National Football League. What they do best, though, is off of that run, play action fake. No one does it better. They're the best in the business at play action fake. However, when you fall behind 21-0, guess what you can't do? Guess what doesn't work? That's right, play action fake. And so they were exposed for what they are. They are a team that needs to be in a game, that needs to keep it close at least, if not be winning, so they can run the football and go play action fake. You fall behind by 21. You don't get it done on special teams. They allowed Wes Welker early in this game to run back a punt, well into Houston Texans territory, give the Patriots an easy drive for a touchdown. Defensively, you allow the Patriots to do whatever it is they want to do on the offensive end. Offensively, you're turning the football over. You're not getting it done. You're throwing interceptions. You're driving the football down the field, but you're not getting points for your efforts. You can't win like that on the road. And the Texans made an abundance of mistakes in this game. And when you're on the road against a good team that can score points like the New England Patriots, you can't make mistakes. You don't win football games that way. And so they were absolutely roughhoused in this game. And no one saw it coming. I didn't think they were going to win this game. I didn't think it was going to be close when it was said and done. But I didn't think that at the beginning of the game, I could turn it off after the end of the first quarter and not have to worry about it. They were done. Which is not what I did, but I could have done that. If you did that, you were fine. You woke up the next morning and the game didn't look much different than when you turned it off. I mean, it was a 21-point deficit at the end of the first quarter. And it was a 21-point deficit at the half. And if you went to sleep at that point, you woke up the next morning, they won by 28. So you didn't miss anything. Shame on the Houston Texans for putting so much emphasis on this game and then coming out and laying an egg the way they did. You can't come out and say, this is the biggest game in Houston Texans history, and then come out and do what you did. Because if this is the biggest game, I'd hate to see what you do when it's the worst game in Houston Texans history. I'd hate to see when it's just a regular game in Houston Texans history. Because that was terrible. I mean, you made mistakes in this game. You had opportunities to make the Patriots pay, and you just didn't look like a team that was prepared to go on the road and play a team like the Patriots and win. And so, for your troubles, you get a 42-14 thrashing at the hands of the Patriots. You let Dante Stallworth, who basically was signed off the street, come in, get a big touchdown catch on you. You let Aaron Hernandez have a field day. You let Wes Welker do what it is Wes Welker does. You let Danny Woodhead catch the football out of the backfield. You let Tom Brady be comfortable. And yeah, J.J. Watt was in his face. He was in his face. He was getting pressure. And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. if not for J.J. Watt holding this defense together with sacks, batted balls, chewed gum, and duct tape, this defense wouldn't be anywhere close to what this team needs it to be for them to make it to the postseason. Luckily enough for them, they have a dominant player on the defensive side of football. His name's J.J. Watt, and he gets it done. He brings it every week. He brings it every play. And so you don't worry about what you're getting out of J.J. Watt. He helps you get through the game. But I'll tell you what, you're going to need more than J.J. Watt. That was evident on Monday because J.J. Watt did his job, but it wasn't enough. You're going to need more than just a pass rush from J.J. Watt if you're going to be successful in the postseason. You're going to need a collective group effort. You're going to need the special teams to be better than they were against the Patriots on Monday night. You're going to need the defense to be better. I mean, this just tells you how inept they were. Patriots fumbled the football. They forced a fumble. Believe it was Wes Welker. Doesn't matter who it was. Either way, the ball was on the ground. About 4 Texan members had a shot at recovering this fumble. Failed to do so. Patriots retain possession. They go down and they get points. That's what happens when you're not a good football team. You're the Texans. You are a good football team. That's not supposed to happen to you. You get an opportunity to get a fumble, to force a turnover, to get prime field position to score points, and you don't do so. That's not the mark of a team that's 11-1 trying to go to 12-1 on the season. That's the mark of a team that's just scratching, clawing, trying to make the postseason, which is what you look like on Monday night. You didn't look like a team that's been 11-1 and running through the whole NFL all season long. You look like a team that just is happy to be in the postseason. And I'll tell you one thing, that effort right there will get you ousted in your first playoff game, whether it's in the second round, in the divisional round because you got to bye, or if it's in wild card weekend because you falter down the stretch. Whatever the case may be, that type of effort right there will get you bounced from the playoffs as soon as you play. Because you won't beat many teams that make it to the postseason playing like that. I'll tell you that much right now. That was a very lackluster effort, and you got a 42-14 shellacking because of it. Patriots did what the Patriots do. You make mistakes, and you can say what you want about the Patriots. You know, defense is a liability. You know, they won't be able to run the ball come postseason time. You know, Brady and this offense, they only have this person, or they only have Welker, or they this and this guy. Doesn't matter. You say what you want about the Patriots. Go ahead and add this to the list of the things that you say about the Patriots. You make mistakes. There's no team better in the league at making you pay for making mistakes. Hands down, bar none, end of discussion. You make a mistake, Brady and that group, the New England Patriots, will make you pay. And they'll make you pay tenfold. Ask the Indianapolis Colts what mistakes do against the New England Patriots. Ask them. Ask the Houston Texans what mistakes do against the New England Patriots. Ask them. Ask the Jets what mistakes do against the New England Patriots. Ask them. You make mistakes against this New England Patriots team, and you'll get blown out of the stadium. You get blown out. It won't even be close because Brady has no mercy for those who can't protect themselves. You can't stop making mistakes. You can't stop getting in your own way. Brady has no mercy and no patience for that. He'll dispose of you in a heartbeat. Moment's notice, you're done. Because they're getting 7. You make a mistake, you fumble, you throw an interception, you give Brady the ball in prime field position, he's getting 7. Forget field goals. He tried that earlier in the season. It didn't work. He's going for touchdowns now. He's going for the jugular, and that's what he did against the Texans. They get it done 42-14. They go to 10-3 on the season, and now they're in second place in the AFC landscape. That whole playoff picture looks like this. Texans are still number 1. They're clinging to it now because now they have to worry about the Patriots taking first place and home field advantage throughout from them. Now, they have to worry about that. They don't finish up strong down the stretch, and the Patriots win the rest of their games, and it's going to be a tough stretch for the Patriots. They got to take on the San Francisco 49ers next week. It doesn't get any easier for them. But, again, this is what the Patriots do. They play tough games at home. This is what they do every year. They're used to it. I wouldn't be surprised if they took care of business next week too, but if you're the Texans, now you got to look over your shoulder. Now you got to take care of business within your own division. You got the Colts twice here in the next 3 weeks. You got to take care of business. And if you don't do so, the Patriots will be more than happy to take that number 1 spot from up under you let you take number 2, and they'll take home field advantage throughout. So it's your decision. What do you want to do? You want to finish up strong, win the last 3 games, secure yourself as the number 1 seed in the AFC? By all means, do so. But if you want to play like you did last night, you'll find yourself as a 2 seed or possibly a 3 seed, because the Denver Broncos aren't playing. They're not playing around. And so if you don't want a first round bye, just say so. The Broncos and the Patriots will be more than happy to take it off your hands. Meanwhile, the Patriots are at 10-3, and now they're the 2nd seed in the AFC playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing unfolds down the stretch, because the Patriots still don't have any margin for error if they want a first round bye. They lost to the Ravens earlier in the season. If the Ravens are able to straighten up their act and get it together down the stretch, clean the table, win the rest of their games, get to 12-4, it's reasonable to think that the Patriots will probably lose at least one more game. It's reasonable to think that way. They have the San Francisco 49ers next week. They could lose that game. Who knows? It's feasible to think that they could drop one more and get to 12-4. If those 2 teams finish at the same mark, the Ravens, if you remember, beat the Patriots earlier in the season. They own the tiebreaker. They would get that 2 seed. So you don't know what's going to happen in the AFC in terms of seeding. But for the most part, the first 5 participants in the AFC has been settled. Colts are going to be your 5th seed. You don't know what's 1 through 4, but you know it's going to be these 4 teams. You just don't know the order. Baltimore Ravens, Denver Broncos, New England Patriots, Houston Texans. So you know 5 of the teams in the AFC. That's more than you can say for the NFC. But this game just made it that much more cloudy in the AFC in terms of seeding for that conference. So that's a touchdown. Go ahead, throw it up. We'll tack on this quick extra point. Now, we all know of the things that transpired over the weekend. I didn't really get to touch on it Monday because there was a lot to get to, and I just felt compelled to talk about Ken Whisenhunt and the Arizona Cardinals and that whole situation and the state of the Cardinals. But really, that situation with Josh Brent, Jerry Brown Jr., the Cowboys, and someone losing their life over the reckless behavior of another, that is the definition of selfish by Josh Brent. That is the definition of carelessness by Josh Brent. That is the definition of stupidity by Josh Brent. Now, I don't have any sympathy for him. Yeah, he's going through a trying time. That was one of his best friends and all that. I get all that. But if you felt that way, you wouldn't have put him in such a compromising position. You wouldn't have taken his life with your actions. This is a despicable act in my book, because a simple phone call could have got both of you home safely. Just one call. Doesn't matter who it was to. And it's funny because I hear this all the time, and I don't think the players take advantage of it. But apparently there's a number you can call, in the NFL handbook, wherever it's at. These players are privy to this information. There's a number you can call. They will have someone pick you up from your location, wherever you are. And you're an NFL player, first and foremost. You have money. Everyone doesn't have the same amount of money, but you have enough to catch a cab. So that's not an excuse anyway. Either way, this is a despicable act. A 25-year-old young man is no longer here on earth with his family, with his friends, living out his dream because you decided you wanted to get behind the wheel, that you were okay to drive. And it's crazy. It's so ironic that the person that gets behind the wheel in this situation, they never die. They never perish. It's always the other driver that gets in the accident, or it's always the person that's in the passenger seat or the person that's in the back seat. Never the person that's actually behind the wheel that's intoxicated. Never. They always get up and they walk away from the scene of the crime. No harm done. Nothing ever happened to them. But the person in the back seat, the person in the passenger seat, the other car that they hit head on, oh, they're gone. They don't make it. They never get to see their family again because you decided you were okay enough to drive. Nothing sickens me more. I had a friend, one of my best friends, one of my good friends, baseball teammate, high school, killed because of a drunk driver. I don't have any tolerance for that type of stuff. I don't have any patience for it. Makes me sick to my stomach that one of my friends isn't here with his family doing the thing that he loves to do. He was going to be an excellent baseball coach. He had his whole life in front of him. He's forever 16 now. He'll never get to see 17. He'll never get to see 18. He didn't get to graduate with us because there was a drunk driver out there that thought he was good enough to drive. Took my friend out. Same thing happened here with Josh Brent. He was fine. He was good enough to drive. Took his friend out. Now he's no longer here. No excuse for that. None whatsoever. That's a despicable act. It's selfish. It's careless. It's reckless. And whatever punishment you get, you deserve it to the maximum. Hope they throw the book at you because you don't deserve any sympathy from anyone. And of course, your Cowboy teammates, I'm glad that they're embracing you because everyone doesn't need to feel the way that I feel. Everyone doesn't need to turn their back on you. You need support too right now. You feel bad about what you did. I know you do. It doesn't excuse the act, however. It doesn't make it any better that you feel bad. We know you feel bad. You should feel bad. You should feel terrible. You should be grief-stricken. Yeah, all those things you should be feeling. You should have all those emotions going through you right now. I don't care because someone else isn't here anymore because of your actions. So you should feel that way. Shame on you. And it's a shame that you've already had a DUI before. You've already been in trouble with the law because of this. So you should have already known better. It takes for someone to lose their life for you to open your eyes and wake up and realize that that's not what you're supposed to be doing. It's too late now. Someone's gone. Someone's no longer here because of your actions. And life is full of choices and actions. And because of your choice, an action has happened that cannot be undone. A life has been taken, can't be replaced. So, to you I say, I hope you've learned your lesson. I hope many others out there have learned their lesson because it's too late for you to learn your lesson. You've already learned it, but someone had to lose their life because of it. But if there's any silver lining in this, and it really isn't, because anytime a loss of life occurs, there's no silver lining. But as I said last week with the Kansas City situation with Jovan Belcher and his ex-girlfriend and that whole situation, if there's any silver lining, is that someone else out there sees this happening and they don't make the same mistake that Josh Brent made, that Jovan Belcher made. And more lives are saved because of it. If 2 lives are saved because of what Josh Brent just did, then Jerry Brown Jr.'s life didn't go in vain. But the whole thing about it is, it didn't have to go at all. He didn't have to sacrifice his life so that other lives can be saved. All you had to do was show a little bit of restraint, show a little bit of self-control, show a little bit of self-discipline, and do the right thing. You didn't, and now someone's not here because of it. And that's going to do it for this episode of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me on this Tuesday afternoon. There was a lot to get to on Monday. Sorry I didn't get to that on Monday, but yeah, a lot happened over the weekend. So you know the ways to contact the show, to view the show. There's Facebook. Like me on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the page. I'm on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. At In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. In the Lab Room at gmail.com is the inbox. Drop something in it. I'd love to hear from you. I will respond. And of course, YouTube is the most efficient, simple, easy, and most effective way to view the show and to drop a message at the bottom of a video and have it reach the inbox. So those are all the ways you have to contact the show, contact me, or just view the videos. I thank you for tuning in. As always, want to see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your family. And this incident with Josh Brent and Jerry Brown Jr. reminds us all that tomorrow's never promised. Enjoy today. Enjoy your family. Tell those who you love that you love them, because there's no guarantee that you'll be here to tell them that tomorrow. Have a good one. Want to see you back here tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. my prayers and thoughts go out to the families involved in that tragedy over the weekend.